Skyrim is full of places with purpose. Whiterun is the political fulcrum of the Civil War, Solitude is a naval and imperial stronghold, Windhelm has cultural gravitas, Markarth has Dwemer mystique, even Rokestede is the canonical home of at least 3 bandit backstories. And then there's Morthal, a fog-covered swamp town that seems to exist entirely because someone at Bethesda whispered, "We need a place here," and then went to lunch. Morthal is quiet, isolated, barely connected by any roads. It's not near anything important, it doesn't produce anything quite valuable, and it seems like half the people living there forget they were supposed to be a part of a functioning town, and yet it still exists. It has houses, a jarl, a tavern, a broom vendor. But here's the weird part, it might actually exist for no reason at all. Okay, so most of Skyrim's cities feel like, well, cities. They have gates, guards, walls, merchants yelling at you as you walk by. There's bustle, there's movement, there's a sense that people are trying to live out their lives, even if those lives involve shouting about cabbages or talking about Talos. Morthal doesn't really do any of that. Morthal feels like someone copy and pasted a small village and then forgot to texture half of it. There's not really any stonework, no grandeur, and most of the buildings look like they've been made from leftovers of better towns. The roads are dirt, the air is fog, the town is just there. Walk into Morthal and you won't get a warm greeting or a cinematic view from anywhere. You'll get a chicken, a confused NPC, and the creeping realization that this might be Skyrim's version of Purgatory. Who lives in Morthal? Honestly, it's pretty hard to tell. There's Alvar, who turns out to be a vampire. There's Falion, who lives in the swamps and performs dark rituals next to a mud puddle. There's a boy who just stares into the distance with the energy of someone who has seen too much and also nothing at all. There are a handful of loggers, a couple of fishermen, and that's about it. Half the town is either under suspicion, undead, or missing entirely. It's like someone wrote the town population list, lost it in the swamp, and then guessed. Morthal doesn't feel like a place where people live. It feels like a place where people hide. Skyrim is full of grand, defined places. Markarth is carved from stone, proud and ancient. Solitude sits atop of a cliff, regal and commanding. Riften hides in the mist, shady and bustling. But Morthal just sits there quietly. Not slouched, not standing still, just there. It's the kind of place you forget you were heading towards. You don't arrive in Morthal, you find yourself in Morthal. Like waking up mid-sentence in a story you didn't mean to read. And once you're there, it doesn't really tell you what to feel. It just lets you stand in it, in the cold, in the fog, in the quiet. There's something eerie about that kind of openness, because most towns in Skyrim tell you what they are, but Morthal doesn't. And in a strange way, that makes it feel more human than most places in the game. It's always foggy in Morthal, not just in the literal sense, though yes, the mist rolls in like clockwork and never quite leaves, but in the emotional sense as well. This is a town suspended in ambiguity. Things happened here clearly, tragedy, fire, secrets, but nobody really talks about them. Not properly, and not all the way as well. And that's the part that gets under your skin, or at least my skin. Because unlike other towns, where emotions flare up and people shout their grievances at you, from the first step through the gate to the end of the game, Morthal is all restraint. Pain that's been packed down tight, grief that doesn't scream, it just waits. Fog on the ground and fog in the air and fog inside the people. That kind of quiet hurts more than a city burning down. If you've ever gone to Morthal, you've probably met the Jarl. And if you've met her, you'd find something strange. She's rumoured to be a seer, a dream watcher. A woman half in, half out of this world. And she is. But what people often forget And what people love about her the most is that she's also deeply calm. She doesn't bark orders, she doesn't make demands. She listens, she reflects, she lets you speak even when she already knows what you're going to say. There's a stillness in her that feels less like power and more like acceptance. That might be why some players love her. Because in a game filled with shouting Jarls who are constantly picking sides and making threats, this Jarl is one of the few who seems content to wait, to let the world unfold even when it's cruel. She's not indifferent, she's just tired in a way that doesn't come from laziness but from seeing too much. Morthal feels like a town that used to be more, and used to have more as well. Not in the sense of buildings or wealth, but in spirit. There's an absence in the air. Not emptiness absence, but like something was taken away and no one quite recovered it. You walk the wooden paths and hear the boards creak, and then there's this sense that every house is holding its breath. People do go about their lives, but it's slow and deliberate. Maybe it's the isolation, maybe it's the swamp, or maybe it's the way the wind sounds different here. But something about Morthal always feels like it's bracing for news that never comes. Other towns in Skyrim grow, they expand, shift allegiances, build statues, burn down and rebuild. But Morthal never changes. And that's what makes it weird. Because it's not abandoned, it's not crumbling, it's just paused. Caught between moments like a song that cut out halfway through the chorus. People still live here. They still speak to you. They still have names and titles and roles. But there's this sense that no one here has taken a deep breath in a long time. That maybe they don't think they're allowed to. The swamp around Morthal isn't just a background dressing. It feels like part of the town's soul. Every tree is half dead, every root is submerged. It's a landscape that's in limbo. And when you wander it, like really wander it, not just sprint through it on the way to a bandit cave, you kind of start to feel it too. You pick your way through the waterlogged ground, you pass the stumps that look like they were trees a second ago. The mist curls around you and there's no music at all, just distant sounds. Frogs, water, wind. And somewhere in that silence, the game gives you a feeling that no quest ever does. What if you were forgotten? Not killed, not cast out, just forgotten. That's the feeling Morthal and its marshes leave you with. Not fear, not awe, something smaller, sadder, more real. Morthal isn't grand, it isn't flashy, it doesn't have a college of mages or a statue of Talos or a thieves guild lurking in the shadows. But it has something else, something harder to define. It has silence, it has stillness, it has a kind of honesty that most towns don't. It's not trying to be a part of your adventure, it's not begging for any attention at all. It's just existing, on the edge of things, quietly, sadly, and completely. So no, Morthal isn't a quest hub, it isn't a war zone, it isn't a place filled with secrets and treasure and radiant dialogue. It's something harder to define. It's a place that feels like it's waiting for something, for someone, or for a story that never came. But in that waiting, there's truth, there's meaning, and there's some beauty about it. Because not every place in Skyrim has to scream to be heard.